Your father says to hit the share button. Why aren't you hitting the share button?
I hit the share button, Ma.
If your father was only around, God forbid, anything happened to you if you didn't hit the share button. Welcome to Open Caller, episode 19 in your playbooks, number 1 in your hearts. I am Corey Bullis. With me here is Ryan Kartner. Rightly tucked if you're nasty.
Woo!
Call back to the old chill days.
That was to make sure everyone had their volume adjusted. Please set to 60%.
I am at, with headphones, 10.
I actually came across something relatively interesting. I don't know if you're too familiar with like Twitch TV and all that.
I know enough.
Yeah.
I get by.
The video game streaming service used to be exclusive video games. And then it started to kind of, broaden out to just, people random streaming. They have a topic or whatever, a category that's called IRL, which just basically means in real life. So no gaming whatsoever. It's basically where girls or sometimes guys basically just be webcam girls or guys, and for some reason they think it's legitimate because it's on a video game streaming service. Anyways, that doesn't really bother me all that much. I don't really care one way or the other. But there was this one channel that I came across, and I can't remember what it's called. It's called like ADMR or ASMR, something like that. It's short for something I can't pronounce. But what it was is it's this girl. And she's like a good-looking girl, like very well set, blonde
She's
hair.
Smart, big brains.
Yeah, good brains. Yeah, good set of brains on her. And so she's blowing into her mic, and I'm sitting there kind of confused, being like, what is that? Why is she blowing into her mic? This is weird. And then like I read in the corner, it's like, oh, set your headphones to whatever, 60%, 50%. And so I Googled what this was, and I can't remember the words, but what it is I guess that when she blows wind into her mic, the vibration in the headsets, I guess, is enough to tickle one's fancy. So I guess that was kind of my reaction. I was like, oh, okay, cool. This is a thing now. Didn't try it. I'll fully disclose that. But what I came to realize are we officially in the dark place of the internet, where I can't go
the dark web,
the deep dark web, the dark windy web, and I can't go to my favorite. Like, I just want to go to Twitch, watch some Super Smash Bros, maybe some Pokemon Stadium, and I'd like to do that maybe without, having a girl blow nasty wind into my headset.
You don't have to watch it.
Once you're there, you kind of do. And it's like, but like, I don't think that, there isn't a place for that. I just don't think the place for that is on my video game streaming service. Like, if I want to see that kind of stuff, there's those kind of sites for such things, right?
Yeah.
Now, because Twitch has a large, I don't know, following, and maybe its audience is bigger than, nastywind.com. Do we?
Hey, I was gonna register that, but
I guess my point is, are people misusing the platform as it was originally intended? And I think my answer is yes.
Well, if you're saying the original intention was to broadcast video game playing, then yeah.
And it's even like, we even kind of scrutinized when it was like good-looking girls playing video games, and it's like, oh, these girls aren't even good at whatever it was, Resident Evil, let's say. Okay, it's not about whether you're good or skilled or whatever. That stuff I can kind of sign off on. What I can't sign off on is like something that has absolutely nothing to do with video games, and really you're just using that platform for its popularity, and maybe because you're using it because it's a bunch of nerds who wouldn't mind rubbing their Logitech headset all over their nads.
Good thing Logitech doesn't sponsor the show.
They do not. So,
They won't
but if anything, Logitech, I have news for you. Your headsets are getting used for things other than hearing the good Lord.
On that note, let's go back to the opening of a quick shout out to our live stream viewers on YouTube and not Twitch.
No.
YouTube.com/GoVNC.
Twitch one day. Twitch one day.
Thanks for watching. And to our listeners, when this goes up, thanks for listening. Thanks for joining. Thanks for sharing if you shared. So, aside from some, as our fact checker pointed out kindly on Google Hangouts here, it's known as Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response.
That's what it was.
ASMR. So, we have...
I knew it was something dirty.
That sounds fun, though. Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. It sounds like one of those old 80s cartoon team-up shows. Got to call the ARMS. Or was it? Sorry, ASMR. Go Joe.
Something you'd see on one Saturday morning on Fox Kids.
Between Spider-Man and Samurai Pizza Cats.
Samurai Pizza Cats. What a great show.
I still have no idea if you're thinking back to it now, what it was really all about.
I don't know. We'll have to have a spoiler cast for Samurai Pizza Cats.
What was that? Street Sharks.
Biker Mice from Mars.
They brought that back late 2000s.
Really?
I think for a handful of episodes. Like anything else. You literally look back as to these TV shows you remember fondly, and then it lasted maybe 20 episodes at the most. Or in Disney's case, 60-some episodes for a first season, then it went away.
What do you think were shows that maybe were a one and done when you were a kid, and you're I really wanted to see a second season of that? Does anything come to mind?
I'm trying to think here. So, ones I watched, Spider-Man did 4 seasons. X-Men did, I think, 5 or 6 seasons. I think The Tick did 2 or 3. No, not really.
It was more I think there were some more adult oriented cartoons Undergrads and Clone High that got 1 season and then were done. And then I remember looking back being wow, those were really great shows. I wish they made more, and then they just never did.
I think Darkwing Duck may have been a season.
Maybe.
Again, that's all Disney.
Yeah. Blame Disney.
Always blame Disney.
I definitely lost a lot of light in the past 10 minutes. I may have to
take a pause and
take a technical difficulties break. We'll see.
If only we had the soundboard with some music lined up.
Yeah. I'll just do it now and apologize for the viewers. I'll be back.
Okay. In that case, we'll just go into a V's T's segment and do a little money promotion here. So Vishal obviously is not here this week, as you guys can see here. He's tending to sue some things. So we are going to move on to the V's T's. I'll be filling in for him. For our viewers on YouTube, I am currently in my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shirt. It's just your standard one with the logo and the 4 guys saying "Cool story, bro." For our listeners, sorry you didn't get to see that, but there she is, TMNT, Turtle Power. Did not get from 80s Tees, but they have quite a few Ninja Turtle selection on the interwebs there. So if you want one, get one. Visit 80stees.com, enter promo code OpenCollar30 at checkout to save 30% on your purchase. 80stees.com. Celebrate your inner 80s kids. Your 80s kid with the raddest retro t-shirts and pop culture gear. Ryan, you are back. You are all lit it up.
I'm back.
You're back.
I wanted to do the delay that they get on news when it's and what do you think, Tom? And he waits 5 seconds. He's well, you see. Now, I don't know how subtle my movement was.
Oh, it was quick like a cat. Didn't even notice.
Okay, perfect. When I'm on, Twitter, 30-year-old man exposes half his ass crack on live television.
Only half?
If it's only half, We'll be fine.
Well,
You gotta show whole ass these days to even get noticed.
PG-13, right?
Yeah, at best.
Well, I have a question. I don't know if this bothered you, but I noticed it last night while I was indulging myself with some Oreos. But the factory error in the production, where you have the edge of the cookie flipped, so it's not rigid; it's the flat part of it.
Oh, it's. Are you trying to trigger me today?
They had one job to do, and that is to have the ridges on the outside with the Oreo branding. But no, they flipped it, and it's on the inside.
You know how I feel about food and errors. Those are my two weaknesses. Yeah, I mean, you have it. You get through it.
Well, you have to, right?
I think I took this way too far, but the Teddy Grahams. Remember Teddy Grahams?
Yes.
Well, I remember, and now that I think of it, it just could be that I got bigger, not necessarily that the Teddy Grahams got smaller. But I remember like buying a pack of Teddy Grahams not too long ago and just being visibly upset looking at these thin, small Teddy Grahams. And I remember Teddy Grahams being a bigger, like they had the little belly and like it was a sufficient cracker for nutrition. And now I got these new ones and they were flat and like tasteless and they weren't very good. And so I remember like getting upset and being like, I'm going to call, I think it's Christy. I'm going to call Christy and have this sorted. It's almost like the Boston Pizza thing, except different battle. And anyways, I think it was the weekend, so they weren't open. So I gave up.
Gone are the days of the 24 hours, 7 days a week.
But again,
complaint department.
Christy, after Boston Pizza, coming back for you. Teddy Grahams. Make them the normal bear size. God's sakes.
So it's in no way, shape, or form that we are that much bigger. It's got to be the production of the.
Well,
right?
I would accept that reality if the bear itself was the same size, but they used to have the rounder belly. Like, I don't know, maybe they want to promote a better, unrealistic body for bears. I don't know. Like.
Yeah, it's the millennial bear, right? So he works out Monday to Friday. Couple hours before going to work.
Maybe someone sat in a boardroom and said, maybe we shouldn't be giving kids morbidly obese teddy bears. Like maybe we should say, hey, this bear's obviously, getting jacked. Like maybe you should get jacked too.
Yeah, so kids should see a bear with an attainable body type.
Attainable, yes, but not like unrealistic. Like these bears they were slim. They were slim bears.
They're vegan bears. They
were, yeah. It was. I don't want to talk about it. Let's next topic.
So no. Did you get? So you didn't go the chocolate chip route. You went just the standard honey.
These were the honey
glazed.
I don't think they're glazed. That would make me a very chubby teddy bear. But I think they're just the standard honey ones.
What are the current flavors of Teddy Grahams?
I think there used to be the chocolate ones, like just chocolate chip, and then the
So okay, we have. Oh, this is Canada we're talking about here. So
yeah,
options are limited now. We're not the Americans. Did you know Americans have, I think, like 24 or 28 flavors of Pop-Tart?
That's amazing. We have like 6.
And you can only find the 2.
You can only get blueberry. I had so many blueberry Pop-Tarts as a kid.
It's like the redheaded stepchild of Pop-Tarts.
Maybe strawberry. Strawberry if you got lucky.
Strawberry, and there was cherry, or was it raspberry was the other one.
I never had raspberry. You must have come from a different home. There were no raspberries.
You were only eating purple popsicles with your blueberry Pop-Tarts and your Fruitios.
I got Sunny D. I did get Sunny D.
Not like the offshoot, like Sunny B.
No, I did get official Sunny D.
So we have chocolate chip and honey. So not glaze, but still honey.
Remember the illusion that Sunny D was like nutritious? Yeah. Like how it was sold like back then compared to the Kool-Aid and the other bullcrap we drank as kids. Sunny D was like, wow, like this actually might make me healthy. And it was probably just as bad, if not worse, as anything else.
Well, and also the unbelievable thing of Buddy showing up with like 6 or 7 of his friends after playing basketball, wanting to get a nice refreshing drink, heads to the fridge and doesn't want the soda or purple stuff. They want the Sunny D.
I take the purple stuff.
Right? It has to be grape soda.
Yeah. At worst, like Welch's grape juice, and that stuff is delicious.
Right? It's from concentrate.
You don't realize how good grape juice is until you're an adult, and like you're like, wow, like I can go for some grape juice right now.
I think it's probably the sense of like you earned the money that paid for the juice versus taking for granted that your parents stocked your fridge.
Yeah, I miss that. Adulting sucks.
Well, your parents still barbecue your dinners?
They do when I go there. I'm still not allowed to be an adult really in their presence.
Because they don't want you to be, or you find yourself it's one of those awkward situations where you don't want to say the wrong thing or change how they think of you.
It's more it's one of those things where maybe I do this intentionally, like subconsciously, but like once you start doing something, and maybe it's a man thing too, but you start doing it wrong so that they just do it for you. And maybe you do it wrong. I think this was like an episode of Everyone Loves Raymond, because if you do it right, then you're doing it all the time. But if you do it wrong, they'll never ask you to do it again. Maybe it's something like that. Episode. I think it was, if I'm remembering correctly.
And you're remembering, you hear someone going, Deborah.
Yeah. What's his name? Brad Garrett with his deep baritone voice.
His Brad Garrettness.
I have that right? Brad Garrett?
Yeah. He's the new Eeyore in Christopher Robin.
That does not surprise me at all. I think he's always been Eeyore. He just found out.
No, there's been other actors.
That actually, like, that movie, I don't know if it's just me, but like the way that they did like the the stuffed animals freaks the hell out of me. They don't look, I think I'd rather just be like flat cartoon, because them being realistic, it's something out of like Nightmare Before Christmas. It frightens the hell out of me.
Like, or Puppet Master with all the toys that are like trying to kill you.
They're like Pooh's all like what's the word, like disheveled and fluffy, but like not fluffy in a good way, like fluffy in a bad way. And how do you make something fluffy in a bad way? Well, they figured it out. So
they brought Pooh to like a crack alley. Just tossed him in there for a weekend.
It's Pooh if he did meth.
Well, and he's still fat too. So there you go back to the
bare
body types.
That's like, again, how do you become a fat, meth addicted bear?
He probably just started.
All right, that explains it.
He got a taste and now he's hooked. So
the first one's always free.
First taste is always free.
Yeah, the first Teddy Grahams always taste the sweetest.
At least with Teddy Grahams now you have resealable bags. I always remember having the boxes that you never like folded the plastic inside down, and they always were stale the next time you got to them.
I actually heard an interesting story the other day. Do you know when you go and buy cold cuts at the deli at insert grocery store name here, and they always put the sticker over the resealable part. So when you try to take the sticker off, it rips the bag, and then you have to get a new bag. I go through this struggle on a weekly basis. So I heard on the radio the other day that I guess someone complained to like their mayor or some sort of political figure in their town of where this is relevant. And he complained that could we not make it so that the sticker is just on the side of the bag and, you actually get to use the bag. And this mayor did whatever it took to actually make that a thing. So now it's no longer a thing in that town.
Otherwise you get cattle prodded by the patron. And
it was somewhere weird. It was like in like Wisconsin or something like that. I don't know, but they have the right idea. And I literally like slow clapped in my car while I was listening to it. I was like, not all heroes wear capes, Corey.
People just burning past. You just wonder why this guy just stopped his car in the middle of the 417 and just
four ways on, just clapping.
You go, random individual from insert this city, Wisconsin.
Yeah, Sheboygan. I don't know if it was Sheboygan.
Why not? Right? It's fun to say.
That's the most random Wisconsin town I can think of.
Go Cheeseheads. So yeah, we were talking about this earlier today, but we have a new show sponsor.
We do.
Yes. Videoeta.com. Have you ever been?
I have not.
It's fine because I have, and they do great work. Prior to, I guess, the big change that they've done with their site, I used to go all the time. They were responsible for being like one of the first to either have the best guesstimations or give you the release dates for upcoming movies. Like, it opens on this day, and now like June, you'll get a Blu-ray
I'm not
release.
gonna lie. I thought the ETA thing was just like random coincidence.
No, they literally their whole thing was being the first,
ETA,
their source for DVD release dates. So I used to go there all the time.
No, I know.
So they are kind enough to sponsor up the show and provide us with a promo code. So if you go to videoeta.com and you want to buy a movie or two, you can save from anywhere 25 to 25% off, depending on the title. Just enter the code COLLAR and you will be saving some money.
I'll even go as far as saying if someone can find a DVD that has not yet been released, let's see who can go for the longest delayed DVD release of all time.
So if you're going to
sign up for what movie was supposed to be DVD and just never made it? I know The Lion King was one that never made it for a really long time. But are there movies out there that are on VHS that just never made the DVD cut?
Probably. Like, we're just starting to get some that are transitioning to Blu-ray now. So I imagine there's some that never made the cut from VHS to DVD, so they would probably work in their way over to Blu-ray.
Viewers, find a VHS in your home and you're like, I don't think there's a DVD for that. And let's see if Video ETA can figure it out.
Well, and buy making it.
And buy some stuff while you're there too.
Yeah, and save yourself 5 to up to 25%. It's a win-win. Because even if you're not getting 25, you're still getting 5. That's not too bad.
For my own curiosity, I have to find out movies that never made it to DVD.
There's got to be some classics.
I put on
some black and white classics.
I typed movies that made it to DVD. That's a long list.
That's some subliminal messages that are going on there. A Freudian slip. Probably so scared that you won't find any that you just like, well, let's just see what's out there.
Here we go. 25 movies you can't get on DVD.
They better be good ones.
I'll
top 5.
I'll do ones that like people would know. The Godfather saga, not available on DVD.
It's on Blu-ray.
The rest are like, from what I can tell, Rodney Dangerfield movies.
Is Back to School on there? It's relevant. Kids are going back to school. Some started already.
The Nightmare on Elm Street movies, not available on DVD. The Great Gatsby, not available on DVD.
We're obviously not talking about the Leo DiCaprio one.
No, this is the original. Well, when I say the original film, I guess, with Betty Field.
Oh, Betty.
Ben, the one where like Michael Jackson did the song. Yeah, that's not available. Those are all the ones that are relevant. The rest are, I don't know them. But my movie knowledge isn't as good as yours, probably.
Oh, I was just gonna say Willard was the first one. Ben was the sequel.
What was the first one?
Willard.
Oh yeah, right.
They did a remake of that with Crispin Glover.
See,
AKA.
But I'm surprised
George McFly.
The Godfather wasn't released on DVD. Like that's.
I know it was on Blu-ray because I had the Blu-ray for the first two.
But like, who was like, "Hey man, like, should we release the Godfather saga on DVD?" No. Okay. What about?
Just move on.
What about Debbie Does Dallas? Does that go to DVD? Yes.
Yeah. Laserdisc too.
Yeah. Double disc set collector's edition. Let's get the Godfather. It's not.
Did you hear HBO announced today that they've ceased airing any of their adult entertainment on their late night programming?
So
on any of their channels or streaming platforms, anything, you cannot watch any of those adult films anymore.
Oh, so like Game of Thrones is still on there.
Yeah, no, not just like.
I think you're gonna have a lot of people whacking it to Game of Thrones now.
Just cause?
well, if they can't
Dragons.
can't get the other stuff, like, you know, half an egg. Yeah.
They're gonna keep their the Silicon Valley like stuff that's for adults, just not like the X-rated adult fare.
Yeah, and you know what? That's not necessarily a bad play because kind of what I was talking about earlier. This is a very this is a very after dark episode today. But I think there's places specifically for that now. Like, I don't think you need to get your adult programming from HBO anymore. I think they can focus on more relevant stuff.
Yeah, like people aren't watching TV as it is, right?
Like Game of Thrones and late night boxing.
I do like me some boxing. I haven't watched it in a while, but I do like boxing.
Yeah. That's HBO. If you want to cut something out, cut out the boxing, man. Like, it's 2018.
It's all UFC, right?
Well, I think even UFC is starting to plateau.
I think it's probably because it's one of those things. Like, it was banned in so many places, so it was kind of
forbidden,
the niche, right? And then
the forbidden fruit.
And then everybody got a piece of the pie, and here we are.
Yeah.
But I guess our main topic of discussion that we were conversing about when it happened, as well as the fallout that continued, was the shooting down in Jacksonville regarding the Madden NFL 19 tournament. I think we're up to 3 folks now have passed and others are injured.
Yeah, I think it started off with like the one guy died, right? And there was a bunch of injuries. And then I guess those guys died from their injuries. Yeah, well, first off, whoever decided to have anything competitive in Jacksonville, that's probably your first mistake.
Well, my problem and I think this is going to go into the point you want to bring up too, is that this was a Madden 19 tournament. When news broke, that's how it was announced. It has since been changed from every story that I found to just be referred to as a video game tournament. So you're not specifying what's going on.
Funny how that worked. Funny how that worked out. I think I called it as soon as it happened.
Yeah.
I told you guys, like, could you imagine if this was a Call of Duty tournament or really any first-person shooter tournament? Anything that, like, indicates, you know, gun violence or violence in general. Right. I mean, you could argue football is a semi-violent sport, but nowhere compared to, you know, if you were doing like say if it was even Mortal Kombat or like something with gore and whatever. And yet they find a way, because Madden 19 causes shooting just doesn't have the same ring to it as, you know, video game kills, you know, here's the evidence. And so that's incredible that actually became a thing, because I was mentioning yesterday that, you know, there was so much argument for a disconnect here and being like, wow, like, it can't possibly be video games because this guy's playing Madden, for God's sake, and whatever it caused, you know, what it caused. And yep, sure enough, the media just attaches itself to this stigma that it's video games. And I don't know. I don't buy it. I think there was like a meme where it's like, you know, I think we were like burning witches like 300 years ago. So maybe the human race is just a little shitty, and maybe it's really not video games. Like, I think we were plenty violent before we came up with video games 40 years ago now.
Well, it just reminds me of that scene in 2001 when you have like the primitive man that are just around doing their thing, and then the monolith shows up and that, you know, turns them to become violent, and the guy's grabbing like a bone from something and hitting someone else, and that like creates violence, which then over time evolves into what we're dealing with today.
You know what I think is the real takeaway from all this?
What's that?
Don't hold stuff in Florida. It is literally the ground zero for dumb crap. That's
why they usually have the Florida man. Well, the
Florida man.
Yeah. The Twitter accounts and all the other social accounts.
Google Florida man. And someone was like, wow, like this state like just has a stereotype of messed up crap. Let's have a video game tournament down there. You sure you don't want to have it like anywhere else, man? No, let's do it in Florida. Okay, well, let's at least do it in, you know, like Orlando or like Miami. No, let's do it in Jacksonville. Too many missteps, my friends. Too many missteps. Not that I have anything personal against Jacksonville. or Florida for that matter, but I'm just going from the stats. Probably in the same state where you get people, bringing gators to the drive-through and, doing lots of math. And I think, a couple brains got eaten there. I think probably just hosting stuff in there is just, I'd avoid it.
Well, that's where a lot of the bath salt stories were coming from a few years ago, right?
The zombie bath salt stories. So maybe instead of blaming video games, let's put it this way. I'd rather you blame Florida than blame video games. Blame Florida. At least blame Florida.
Well, it's a sexier narrative for the news media to pin it on something, and something that's been going on since video games really took off in the mid-90s.
Like, what happens if it was like a Pac-Man tournament? You're going to be like,
Mario Party.
Yeah.
Tetris.
Yeah, Tetris, competitive Tetris gets out of hand. 2 men dead. It's like, oh, blame the Russians.
Just that stick piece just wouldn't come. The guy gets set off.
Yeah, I'm kind of still for it. Like that's obvious. Like, and just like they're like the video game narrative's really sexy. I'm actually kind of surprised that they're not playing the mental illness card on this one, because if you're like. I think
they said this guy was diagnosed with some associative disorders.
No kidding. And on top of everything, like maybe because I will say that Madden can get you a little riled up. If you've seen some of like the BS glitch plays that occurs in Madden, I can see why somebody would get mildly frustrated. I remember
all those glitch goals when we played Shell online.
Yeah, very similar thing, right? So I can see someone getting a little frazzled, and like there's going to be some raging, and you're going to get a little mad. But to take it to that extent, I don't think that's a video game problem. That is a mental illness problem. That's at best Florida problem.
Well, really, I'm just wondering,
putting this on Florida.
If you go back to Grand Theft Auto 3 coming out, I don't recall many stories of people beating hookers with baseball bats.
No.
Like really? That was a big epidemic that went on during that.
Well, I mean, and video games and violence has all like ever since like Mortal Kombat. I think Mortal Kombat 2 or something was the first game to ever. I think it was the reason why they brought out the ESRB rating to begin with.
Was and there's more so gore, right?
Yeah, it was gory. It had blood. I don't think it was the first one that triggered. I think it was the second one. I could be wrong on that. Fact checker viewers. Prove me wrong again. Anyways, I'm pretty sure it was at least one of the Mortal Kombats. And ever since then, we've always had like, oh, you weren't allowed to play these video games. These were bad. It had blood, and you weren't. And I think, especially from our generation, we've been kind of battling that stigma throughout almost our entire lives. From games like Doom, Mortal Kombat, you name it. And to still have like, I think we're getting tired of having the same debate with the same group of people over and over and over, when it's quite like it's quite adamant, I think, that there is really no connection. And I thought that this being Madden football would have been enough to say, okay, you can't possibly say like this is a violent video game that triggered violent tendencies. It's almost impossible.
Well, if they didn't blame the video games, what they would probably be blaming it on would be movies, because that was the thing before that. That's why you don't have smoking in movies anymore, because they thought it was teaching kids to smoke.
But honestly, because like, and again, like you could have made the argument if it was like a Call of Duty type game where there's a shooter, there's guns, and you're kind of engulfed in the moment of, whatever, being in that reality for a split second, let's say. And that I'm far-fetching this as it is. But if it's a Madden tournament, like it might as well be a rock, paper, scissors tournament. It really makes no difference what it was. It really doesn't. So how you can spin this and say, oh, video game tournament caused this, or it's the focal point of this. I don't know. I don't buy it. Get your shit together, media.
So your fact checker. So it was July 29th, 1994 that the video game makers proposed ratings to Congress. And it was in a response to Mortal Kombat.
The first one or the second one?
It says Mortal Kombat, so I guess it's the first one.
Damn, I could have sworn it was the second. Maybe it was in response to, and the second one got the rating. That's possible.
The game's use of digitally captured actors and bloody violent fatality moves caused a stir when it was released in arcades in 1992. So home versions of the game appeared on the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis 16-bit game machines in September 1993 with the MA13 ratings on it.
Yeah, I think it was the first Mortal Kombat. Yeah, okay.
But that was less about home video console games. It was more about what was going on in the arcades.
Yeah, because it originally came out for arcade first, I guess, right?
I was never good at Mortal Kombat.
And I don't think
I've played it, but I was not good at all.
I have one of the newer ones I'm not too bad at.
Is it like was it 10? I think was the last one.
Yeah,
the one that was released like on iPad and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's actually really good. It's one of the better versions of Mortal Kombat, I'll say.
I didn't have any room on my iPad to download it, so I just moved on.
I have it for the Xbox One. It's okay.
Oh, Xbox One.
Yeah.
That was a tough decision. PS4 or Xbox One.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was a lot for me. It was a lot easier than the Xbox 360 versus PS3.
Because that was the whole Blu-ray or no Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
But everybody had Xbox 360, so
yeah,
it was just don't want the Blu-ray player. I like Sony.
I'm about to make the switch to Switch pretty soon.
Pun intended.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was, but for some reason they're releasing Diablo 3 for Switch, and it really doesn't affect me. I have Diablo 3 already for PC, and there's really no reason why I'd get a Switch for that. But it just made me start looking at Switch games, and I kind of came to the conclusion, it's like, wow, like actually the selection is not awful.
Yeah, it's not your dad's Nintendo anymore.
Well, I just think like Wii U didn't really have a lot of games. We had some good games, and
yeah, I think the Wii U definitely was a good learning curve precursor to what the Switch is.
GameCube was like nobody wanted like. I think coming out with Luigi's Mansion first was the worst mistake GameCube ever made or Nintendo ever made. I think that just turned so many people off from the system.
Oh yeah, you can't build your system around the Luigi franchise.
No, like that was your first mistake. You might as well call it, like, why did you make it Luigi? Why already sell yourself short like that GameCube? But anyways, hindsight's 2020. Yeah, so I'm probably gonna get a Switch at some point when this show takes off and they're paying me $100,000 an episode.
2 sponsors. We start off with no sponsors. I think when we first started, we were brought to by the letter H.
Brought to you by the letter H. But yeah, anyways, I won't get too far into that, but I might be getting a Switch soon.
So, I don't know if you're heartbroken about this, but The Big Bang Theory is ending.
I am not.
12 seasons.
Thank God. And I've liked The Big Bang Theory. It just got so overdone. And the writing got sloppy near the...
Well, I saw somebody posted a clip in the article that was about this. I guess it really wanted to record their feelings on the show itself. And I remember the episode 2, and I didn't remember the quote, but essentially I guess Raj versus I think Penny, or I guess a ping pong or something. And basically Howard has a quote where it's essentially, it's not a joke at all. He just lists like 10 different like comic book nerdy type references in a row, and then there's like this big laugh track and the guy just pauses the video and screams like, where the hell's the joke? These are just random titles of things that exist.
Yeah, and it's true.
Yeah. And I want it to become towards the end.
Well, yeah, and the joke's like, and there were some episodes earlier on that I liked and I actually enjoyed it. And I think the reason why it's come flat is because we've overdone the nerd joke.
Yeah.
Like they literally beat that horse to death and then gave it glasses and then beat it again.
The biggest problem for that was it was something that was created to capitalize on the shift in the culture where being a nerd or being into nerd things wasn't
cool or hip.
Right. And it's just starting to become more mainstream as, you know, Marvel's movies are taking off and Star Wars is coming back and all that things. And then now that's considered the norm and that's what everyone's into now. yeah, it's ran its course. I still watch it just for the sake of having background noise. When
It's a popcorn show for me. Like I'll put it on the background. My parents enjoy it. But
it's like there's like some people that put on like your Seinfeld or whatever to fall asleep to. It's just like comfort food.
I don't know. Like for me, like I definitely wasn't one of the biggest nerds growing up in the sense that, like I wasn't like a social outcast or anything like that. But like I found that like one of the benefits of being a nerd was that you were at least different, like you were unique.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like shows like The Big Bang Theory and stuff like that took almost that uniqueness away and kind of robbed nerds everywhere of that. And it's like, oh, now it's cool to be a nerd, and like everyone's a nerd now. Like, and these cute, good looking girls like put on a set of glasses and they're nerds, and it's like, and like,
but they take their glasses off and then they're hot. That's what romantic comedies have taught us.
They're with the glasses on or off, they're good looking.
Now they are, but back then there was the girl who was ugly because she had glasses and overalls.
That's true. Now you kiss that girl with the overalls,
right?
But yeah, like just like, and then us nerds, like especially ones that like were maybe bullied more as kids and stuff like that, like they paid the price. Like they paid the price for being awesome, essentially, and like being into the nerdy stuff that was kind of a stigma. The kids that were into Dungeons and Dragons and like that kind of stuff, and like all the stuff that Big Bang Theory kind of promoted, and kind of I think there's a fine line between they brought it into a light where now it's like accepted and people were more into it, and they just kind of overdid it where it became the norm and it's not fun or cool anymore to necessarily do those things. And that's unfortunate because like a lot of that stuff, I'm like, yeah, like I enjoy this stuff, but like now if that person's doing it and now they're just doing it because it's in and they're not really doing it because they enjoy it, it's kind of loses something.
Yeah, the big thing as to why it's taken off now, why you're seeing it in the forefront, is because now people realize, oh, we can make money off of this now.
Well, it's a market, right? It became a market. And now I think we've kind of oversaturated that market, and you're just saying the same 6 jokes over and over again.
Just say Game of Thrones, Batman, Nintendo.
Yeah. I'm glad it's done. You know what? At least they didn't 2.5 minute and try to replace Parsons or anything.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Like, just if you were somebody on the show who's been on it for 12 years and this is your meal ticket, would you be pissed that the one guy's leaving and costing, say, 100 people their jobs? Or would you look at it as in, no, maybe it's time that we should do something else? This guy sees it.
I think you ended on a good note. I don't think you want to do it where it's like 2.5 men, because
people could end up like the cast of Cheers, because Ted Danson didn't want to continue with the show, so they ended it. No one else really worked after that, except for really Kelsey Grammer.
Toss salad and scrambled eggs.
Did you watch Frasier? I never got into Frasier.
Nah, I think I was a little young to get the jokes. It was very posh kind of humor, at least for me as a kid. Like I think if I was a little older, I probably would have watched it. But yeah, it wasn't for me. I don't want it to happen where it's like that 70s show where like you kind of want a lot of people from the Big Bang Theory to continue on. And I think if we learned anything from like 2.5 Men and 70s Show and Cheers is you don't get a chance to really do that. And I think Parsons leaving, and if you end it there and everyone goes on a good note, at least you optimize the chances of everyone getting future gigs and like everyone being fine. And then you don't have like, the Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher are the only people walking away out of it.
Or we look at the Friends cast where I think only 2 of them really took off, like Courtney Cox and Jennifer Aniston. But even then, now it's Jennifer Aniston that's really the only one that's steadily working. Yeah. And they ended the show, like they all wanted to end it, but they ended it earlier than they wanted to because Jennifer Aniston wanted to focus on her movies.
And look where that got her. Multiple divorces. I don't know if it's multiple, actually. Don't quote me on that, Jennifer.
Oh, no, it's no fact checking for you. You got that correct. 2 divorces.
Nice. All right. Finally, Ryan's right on that show. We need like one of those like flickering lights that like, I'm finally right.
Just like I said, we gotta get that soundboard. We're almost there.
Yeah, you are correct.
You are correct, sir.
Yeah. Anyways, that's how I feel about Big Bang Theory. I'm glad it's over. It was over. It should have been over 2 seasons ago, in my opinion.
I like the beginning when it was
funny.
Trying to get like Leonard trying to get with Penny, but then there was they went out, then they
Yeah.
were broken up, and then they went out again, and then now they're all
That's
married
another
with kids, and
that's where they went wrong. You have all these nerds, we'll say, except Sheldon, who's dating Amy, who in real life is actually kind of a looker. But in the actual show, she's meant to be a little, a little homely. So and I think that's the point where you lost your nerd market, because every single nerd knows, from the spectrum of cool nerd to crappy nerd to lonely nerd to every nerd, knows that you never get the good looking girl at the end.
in some cases, no girl.
In most cases, no girl.
Yeah.
You wanted to make it real, Chuck Lorre, I guess he's in charge of it.
Chuck Lorre, yeah.
You wanted to make it real, Chuck? Have them settle for a girl that's moderately attractive, doesn't have a good gig, and sometimes swears at them. Make it real.
You know what I discovered the other day about Chuck Lorre and his I guess I would say filmography, but in his repertoire of things, he sang the opening theme song to the 80s Ninja Turtles cartoon.
That doesn't surprise me. That's if I had my
the best part of
staircase.
that. Yeah. The best part of that is I read is that version that he was on was a placeholder until they got the actors cast, and then they were going to re-record it. The show decided we'll just use this.
Yeah, it's gold.
80s animation. You got to save some money, right?
Yeah. But yeah, to have all three dudes get the girl, like a pretty good looking girl. And I think I haven't watched the later episodes. The last one I watched, Raj was with a total hottie. I'll buy that.
He's been going through girls a lot the last couple seasons,
and
so even that
good looking girls, like ripping through.
Yeah,
them. And the guy was a social outcast 2 years ago. Like nobody's buying it anymore. Like I'll accept that maybe one guy gets lucky. I would say Leonard gets lucky, and through perseverance and determination, wear her down slowly, and you get her. I'll accept that as a possible reality. You can't tell me that Howard and all of them get all good looking girls too. Get out of here.
No, and then he gets married and has kids.
And then the normal people, I call them the normies.
The normies
think it's oh, that's so sweet. See, nerds do find love, but they don't. Don't let this. It's disillusioned.
Disillusioned.
Big Bang Theory.
The normies and the homelies.
Yeah, I'm getting in a lot of trouble today.
Rolling with the homelies.
Rolling in the deep.
Jeez, man. Got to keep Vishal on here to get you under wraps.
Yeah. Sponsors start bowing out.
So that's the problem with the $1 beer. They're loaded all the time now.
I don't think I've even cashed in that $1 beer yet.
What they say in the news? It's a couple of brands, and I think they're not in Ottawa.
So the nation's capital. It's fine. It's fine.
Just suck you in for your vote, man.
Yeah, it worked.
It doesn't matter, man. New study says there's no safe level of alcohol. It destroys your system regardless.
Okay, so drink as much as you want, basically. That's what
you're going down. You're gonna die anyway.
Yeah.
Get out while the getting's good.
So they're saying there's no difference if I have 1 beer or 10 beers. It's just gonna kill me regardless.
Endgame? No. But they always say in moderation.
Yeah. I think we're perceiving it 2 different ways. I hear if you're gonna drink, go ham.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
Okay, I think we've wasted enough of people's time already. But I do want to do one quick shout out before we sign off. This is going out to former guest host and good friend of the show, Holly and Michael, because they are getting married on Saturday. This will be airing, I guess Friday we'll be putting this out, so the day before. So shout out to them. Congratulations.
Congratulations, guys. That's awesome.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say everything's going to be wonderful. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be great. The day's going to be awesome. So congrats to them. Hope to have Holly on the show again and tell us how everything went. I will know how everything went because I will be there, but still, other people would like to know. So to them, again, congrats. And that's Open Caller for this week. Follow the show at facebook.com/opencollarpodcast, Twitter, Instagram, opencollarpod, youtube.com/govnc. Subscribe so we can change the name and have everything uniform. For Ryan Kirkner.
Does this mean I get a solo show next week?
Oh, absolutely.
Nice. Solo show with Ryan. If you liked what you heard today, boy, are you in for a treat.
The 10:30 show gets a little blue.
Yeah. Remember, Corey's at a wedding. He can't see the live stream until after it's over.
Hey, the wedding's on Saturday. I will be back if we go next Thursday as per usual. We'll be recording Tuesday. Sorry to spoil the illusion for our podcast listeners. For Ryan, this is Corey reminding you to keep it casual.